Welcome. Today, we're going to dive straight into the global scramble for critical minerals,
Hmm.
and specifically Africa's position right in the middle of it all. We're looking particularly at Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya.
Right. And we've got these sources talking about the, let's say, strategic interests, China, the U.S., vying for resources there.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack the dynamics, what's actually happening, what does it mean for those African countries?
And for the global supply chain, too, ultimately.
Okay, let's get into it. What's the first thing that jumps out from these articles?
Well, it's just how central Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya are repeatedly mentioned. It's not just background noise.
No, they're clearly key
Key
players.
players, yeah. The sources stress their importance for the kind of minerals that, power everything now. Phones, batteries, green tech.
Right. And the articles are pretty direct about the U.S.-China competition over these specific countries, aren't they?
Oh, very direct. It's framed as a major competition for access. Less about just trade, more strategic positioning.
Strategic positioning. Okay. So connecting that,
Mhm.
what do the sources suggest this means on the ground for Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya themselves?
Well, there's definitely the potential upside mentioned. Economic benefits,
Like investment.
infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. Investment, maybe developing their own mining sectors better, jobs, that sort of thing is hinted at.
But I sense a but coming.
Well, yeah. The sources also highlight it's a tricky situation for them, a real balancing act.
How so?
They need to manage these powerful interests, make sure deals actually benefit their long-term development, not just, extraction for others. It's complex diplomacy.
Okay, let's dig a bit deeper then. The specific minerals, are they listed clearly?
Not always explicitly like Nigeria has X, Ghana has Y. It's more the context.
The context of critical and strategic.
Exactly. So you infer it's things vital for EVs, electronics, renewables, the high demand stuff.
Like lithium, cobalt?
Maybe rare earths.
Precisely. The kind of materials driving this whole global push. The sources operate on that assumption that these are present and sought after.
Got it. And what about the different approaches? China versus the U.S., as described in these articles.
The sources sort of paint China's involvement as longer standing, often tied to big infrastructure projects alongside resource deals.
Right, we've seen that narrative before.
Whereas the U.S. approach, as presented here, seems more focused now on diversifying supply chains, making them secure.
Diffure and maybe emphasizing certain standards, fair practices.
Yeah, that narrative is definitely present in some of the source material, focusing on transparency or sustainability, at least rhetorically, though the core interest is still securing the minerals.
So if we boil it all down, what's the picture emerging from these specific readings?
It's a picture of Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya holding, well, significant cards. They have resources the world desperately needs.
Which gives them leverage.
Leverage, yes. But it also puts them in a potentially vulnerable spot, navigating these huge global players, high stakes economically and geopolitically.
And we should stress, again, this analysis, this whole conversation, is purely based on the articles we looked at.
Absolutely. We're not adding our own opinions or outside info, just reflecting what's in these sources.
Right. So, quick recap. Our sources place Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya at the heart of the critical minerals race,
With intense interest from both China and the U.S.
offering potential opportunities, but also significant challenges for these nations to manage.
It's that balancing act again. Economic potential versus geopolitical pressures.
Okay, so that leads us to a final thought for you, the listener.
Yeah, based on everything we've discussed from these sources, this intense competition in places like Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, what do you think the long-term impact might be?
For their actual sovereignty, for their sustainable development down the line.
It's a big question. Something to really mull over, thinking about the future of the continent and, well, global resources.